Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be decluttering and reorganizing my kitchen. I don't have a lot of time to do this because I have to pick Barry up in about 3 hours. So I'm not sure if I'm being a little over ambitious, but at the very least I can make a good dent. So I'm going to show you what we're working with. Here we go. I did not pre-clean. This is real life. This is just how it looks at this particular moment. First of all, straight up, I dislike our kitchen. We have lived here about 9 years. It is a rental. We do want to buy, but this is the first house that Barry and I have ever lived in by ourselves. We lived with my mom for quite a while. And when we moved in here, we moved from a very small apartment, basically, that we had shared with my mom. And we'd only had like 3 cupboards. And so Barry and I moved in and we're like, we're never gonna fill all these cupboards. Well, yes, we have filled them. So down here is like small appliances. So there's an electric griddle, our blender, slow cooker, and baking sheets and things like that are over here. Pots and pans, child locks. Pots and pans are in this drawer right over here, or this cupboard. This like island, it's not really an island because it's attached to a wall, but this is a magnet for mess. Like it just, you can see, this is where things come when we don't know where else to put them and they just live here. This is dirty from yesterday, so ignore that. Okay, over here, stove, whatever, nothing too exciting. This doesn't always sit out. Sometimes it goes under that first cupboard. Dirty bottles that need to be washed, dirty dishes that need to be washed. This also becomes a huge cluttered mess. So we have things like kids' snacks and things for Aspen's lunches, bread, this knife set here, granola bars, and then we have things like cling wrap and parchment paper and all that are living there. Then the microwave with random nickety-knack crap. I'll go through the drawers really quickly. So we just have your standard cutlery drawer. And this is some of the more like larger kitchen tools. I just want to empty this and see exactly what is in there. Down here are the larger utensils. This is Bennett's favorite drawer because he is obsessed with spatulas. And then down here is like the kitchen junk drawer, basically. And again, I need to go through it. There are certain things in there that we don't use, like whatever's in here. This is just a drawer we never even go into, so I think it could be put to much better use than what it's currently doing. The cupboard over here, freaking child locks. I'm so used to not having them, and now, because Bennett's mobile, we obviously have them again. A million ice cube trays, like we don't need all those. But we have cereals down here, and then baking sheet or baking dishes, whatever, bakeware, I guess. And it's really not functional because you have to pull everything out in order to get to it. We don't have an actual pantry, so this functions as our pantry. These cupboards here, yeah, it's just a mess. And then this is like a spice rack, but I dislike it. And the spices that are on here have been here forever. So it's hard to, yeah, I don't like it. We'll put it that way. The corner unit here is more like snacks, and then this is a lasagna tray that we use for obviously making lasagnas and making nachos and things like that. An extra lunch bag for Aspen up here, and then a ton of leftover Halloween and Christmas candy that I just need to go through because we don't really eat it. And then the kids' grandmother, my mother-in-law, came and brought them a ton of Smarties. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. Kids love them, but I just need to find a better way to house them. Glasses and whatnot live in these cupboards and then up as well. Yeah, whatever. And then over here are dishes, and usually small dishes, but I've got to empty the dishwasher. And then mixing bowls, and then like serving bowls or heating in the microwave bowls, whatever. What do you call those? I don't know. I know for sure that I want to switch these with this drawer here, or this shelf. because Aspen can reach these ones, but she can't reach these unless she crawls up on the counter, and I would rather avoid having her need to do that. This is bothersome. Well, it's bothersome. This is our like first aid kit. And then these, I don't know why designers make these stupid drawers that nobody can actually get into, or cupboards. And just like, these were from Aspen's first birthday party, and she's gonna be 7 this year, so it shows you how quickly we get through this kind of stuff. I've never used this. Okay, so I have watched a ton of YouTube videos on kitchen organization, and I have gone to the dollar store and Walmart and to Bulk Barn today, and I've picked up various things that I now have to figure out how to best implement. I am not an organizational guru. I do not have that gene. It does not come naturally to me. I am very much a disorganized person, but I appreciate organization. And I don't know what it is, but lately I've just been like, it's time to be an adult. Like, I'm gonna be 39 this year, and I still don't really feel like a grown-up. Like, I'm married, I own a business, I have kids, but I still don't feel like a grown-up. Does anybody else relate to that? I hope. But certain systems in my house, or lack thereof, are just not working for me anymore, and I'm tired of clutter, and tired of being embarrassed of the state of my house, and not wanting friends to come over because I just don't feel like I live in a grown-up home. So I'm, you know, taking matters into my own hands. That's why I'm doing this huge declutter series, and the kitchen is not just getting decluttered, it's going to get organized, and I'm trying to make it so that it's not overly complicated. I have an almost 7-year-old, I have a husband, and then Bennett is almost 2. They need to be able to figure this out too and follow it. So it can't be hyper organized to the point where like you need a beautiful mind to figure it out. It just needs to be labeled and things put where they belong, a place for everything and everything in its place. And I feel like if we have something that's realistic and user-friendly, then we will actually stick with it. Because there's nothing worse than spending all this time to organize stuff only to just then completely forget about it after the fact. It is now 7 days after I started on the kitchen, and I think back to my whole, let's see how much I can get done in a few hours naivety, and kind of giggle at myself because it took a long time. But I'm very happy with the results. So let's take a look at the after, shall we? Now, keep in mind, it's not perfect. It's not by any stretch, but I've got my lunch cooking in there. I do need to clean that pan, but let's go cupboard by cupboard. So first of all, I switched out all of the hardware with the exception of the ones on these drawers here. So you can see what they were. They were these ugly plastic white things. The reason that I haven't changed them out here is because the nails aren't long enough, so we have to go to Home Depot to get some nails that will, or some screws that will actually work with that. Also, when I ordered these from Amazon, it came in a pack of 25, except that they only sent me 24, fuckers. So I did use 4 of them in my bathroom upstairs, and now I only have 3 for over here. So that's annoying. But I have written to the company, and I'm hoping that they will send a singular replacement, I hope. So I've got the fire extinguisher over there. Nothing is allowed to be sat in front of it or anything like that. I just want it on its own, easily graspable if we need it. Barry did ask that I leave one of his screwdrivers here because we do use it to tighten up like the door hinges and things like that, so no problem. And then this is just a little lint roller. Over here is where I'm keeping all of the warranties and like appliance information. I did cull through a ton of it and just kept what was necessary. I really don't have a good place to keep birthday candles, so I'll keep them up there, and same with toothpicks. I purchased, it's a little wonky. Barry's got to tighten that, but I got a paper towel roll so that it's not taking up space on the counter. I did have a circular one which took up like a good chunk of space, about that big. So this way it's just out of the way but still accessible. These drawers, or these cupboards, nothing really has changed all that much except that I've put our dishes up here and the kids' dishes down here so that Aspen can reach hers without having to crawl up on the counter. This is not perfect yet, but we have our glassware here, and then I've got our baking sheets up here now. I'm gonna go through, I think I can get rid of at least one of those. And then all of our straws that were sitting in plastic bags and boxes I've put in here. Once we get through these, then I will be purchasing reusable straws for the house, but we've had those for quite some time before metallic straws and things like that really became en vogue. But I do agree with keeping these out of landfills, so we have them, they're going to end up there anyways, we're going to use them and then get reusable straws. Again, this one's not perfect, but it is much better. Insert picture. Now I've got the snacks down to just one drawer here. Protein powder, which was sitting on a bag on the counter, is now in its own container. These were all on the counter as well, taking up a ton of space, so now I've got them in here. And then a big lasagna tray up there, and then an extra lunchbox in case Aspen's gets dirty. There is a huge difference with this counter, and I am just so thrilled. And obviously you can see the after here. So these were about $3, maybe $3.50 at Walmart. So I've got one for snacks, and then Aspen can just reach in and grab whatever it is that she would like for her school lunch or when she gets home from school. Lunch containers for Aspen, that doesn't belong in there. Barry's, he's trying, he's doing his best to figure out my system because I've changed everything around. So the labels are here, and then I have to empty the dishwasher and a bunch of her stuff. We're just going to put it up there because we use it every day, so it's just easier if it's up there. And then juice boxes and a few other snacks can go in this little container here. I got this at Walmart as well. I think it was about $10, but it cleared up an entire drawer for us, just having it out here. The fruit basket, I was going to buy a bread box, but not all of this is going to fit in there, and it was going to take up more space than it was worth, so I will live with that there. This cupboard I am particularly proud of. So this, it wasn't a huge mess, but it wasn't organized. I found that we had a lot of these plastic containers to begin with, and certainly all those mason jars we already had. And then I found these ones here at Walmart, and you got a pack of 3 in like one of these sizes, one of these, and then the really big one. For like $15 or something, which was way better than like the OXO brand or OXO or however you say it. So I got those, so we now have everything labeled. I bought a label maker, fell right down the rabbit hole of that, but I love it because everything now has a place and it's quite easy to see where everything goes. Even the cat treats are now up there, so we can actually remember to give our poor cats some treats. And then I hung all of our measuring cups up here just so that they're more easily accessible and free up some space in the drawers. This was another little brainchild of mine because spice racks and I just don't get along. They take up so much space, and I don't like the prefabricated ones where it comes pre-filled with what they think you should have, whereas it's not going to come with like rim salt for Caesars or Frank's Red Hot powder, I guess. So these are just little magnetic things. I found them at Bulk Barn and also at Walmart. They were about $2 each. So I picked them up. Anything that we had existing, I dumped in here, labeled it, and I also went to Bulk Barn and just bought a bunch of fresh new herbs and spices like Italian and oregano and parsley, all of that. Just so everything is really easily accessible. I can see exactly what it is. If I need it, I just pick it up, I can put it back. Everybody can figure out what they need, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Top of the fridge is clear for the first time ever. And then this is just like paper towels and just shit that we don't usually use. Down here are small appliances. So we went through and got rid of some of the ones that we just never ever use, and now we've reorganized the ones that we do, and they're more easily grabbable. I forgot to take pictures of under our sink before I did all this, but it was a gong show. Like, it was just a mess. You couldn't figure out where anything was. Everything was stacked on top of itself. So I bought this little over-the-door rack from Walmart. I can't remember how much it was, but it holds all of our essentials and clears them up from being on the counter. So that has been really helpful. I got this little stand for about $10. It's very sturdy. It doesn't collapse or anything, which is really helpful. So now I've been able to take advantage of some of the additional space in there. We had a Lazy Susan, which you can see down here, which we never used. And it's too wide for any of our cupboards, so all of our like vodka and all that good stuff, that is just going to live on there. And then there is a bunch of space at the back, which I think when we go through our cold storage downstairs, we'll probably bring up like our turkey roasting pan and all that and put that in there, because we only need it like twice a year. This drawer I'm also quite happy with, or this cupboard. So I've got all of our pasta situated there and nicely labeled. A few little assorted things at the back there that we don't use very often. Cereal in big containers. I'm going to buy another one and put that in there, and then I think we're going to just aim to go to like Bulk Barn or something like that and buy cereal in bulk and fill up those containers from that way. I cannot wait to switch these out. Our cutlery drawer, nothing has changed there. This is our small gadget drawer, and I love it. And I didn't realize that everything was like black and red until I took a picture of this, except for this green spatula, which now makes me kind of twitch because it's the only thing that's green that's in there, but it's so much better. Everything's contained, all the clips are in one spot. There's no more than like 2 items or so per slot, and you can just see where everything is, and everything has a designated spot. I don't think anybody's Tupperware drawer is ever going to look pretty. Mine is no exception, but at least it's all there. We freed it out of the cupboards. It's all in one spot, all on one level, and we can see exactly what we have. And then this one was like our junk drawer. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Like, I'm so happy. So I just bought 2 more of those little bins from Walmart. So we now have our cutting boards down here. It'll hold 10 pounds of potatoes. This is 5 pounds of onions. And Bennett hasn't figured out that it's here yet, which is awesome. So then the other little thing that I purchased from Amazon, if it'll show up, yeah. They are motion activated lights for under the counter. They just sit on little magnetic strips, and then you can charge them with a USB. I couldn't figure out why they weren't turning on, but it's because they're more sensitive when it's dark. So, and they don't stay on for very long, which I actually really like as well, so they're not wasting a lot of battery juice and all that kind of good stuff. But I love them. I've always wanted under counter lights, and these ones are great. And at nighttime, they're really helpful as well, so when we walk in and get close to the counter, they just turn on, light things up, and turn themselves off. And I love them. Now, because it took so long to go through the kitchen, and because it was just overwhelming to begin with, I wasn't paying an awful lot of attention to how many items I decluttered from it, so I really just needed to get stuff into boxes that were going to be donated and into bags that were going to be tossed, because I just needed to free up the space in order to work with what I had. So I don't have a specific number. Conservative estimate would be 50 items. Like we donated a lot. Like there was a coffee maker, there was like an indoor grill that we just never used. There was measuring spoons and serving bowls and like just a ton of stuff that we don't use anymore. So we did donate a lot. I did throw out a lot. So I'm not sure, but I would say at least 50 items, probably significantly more than that, but conservatively I'm gonna say 50. At any rate, I mean, the kitchen is so much better organized. I really actually enjoy going in there now. It doesn't stress me out. Like having as clear of counters as possible has made a huge difference in how I feel about that room, and I'm so happy that I did this. Like it was a ton of work. So worth it. So at any rate, my lunch is done now. I am going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being a part of this and for checking out this video. I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.